Okay, so I will open us up in prayer. I'm so excited. Dear Heavenly Father, we just honor you today and we just give praise and thanks to you today for all the things that you are doing around us and in us and through us. We just ask for healing, abundance, wisdom, and direction for us, Lord, as we go through and navigate all the things that we're going through. I pray for everybody here, Lord, that you just take them in the palm of your hand, and everybody who listens to the playback, take them in the palm of your hand and direct them to do your work. Let your will be done, Lord. Just guide us and let us know that you are here with us to guide us to get through whatever it is we're going through, Lord. We just thank you for all the things that you are doing and the abundance of blessings you're going to pour out over all of us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay. Yeah. So tonight I'm so excited. We're on Boss Babes. Boss Babes. And I'm so excited. Boss Babes #2 series. And tonight is Ann Newbury. So let me just tell you a little story about Ann Newbury. I went to her retirement party. That's probably the first time I really ever saw her. I mean, I saw her, but I didn't really meet her. And then I went to her retirement party. And then when I was under Jamie Cruz Varanios, I actually flew to Texas just to be trained by her for Jamie. And I have a thumb drive here, and I'm going to take a picture tomorrow of all my tubs with all my CDs, all my training throughout my years on how we used to train, because that's how we stayed connected. That's how we stayed in our mind, having the right mindset, is all the positive stuff that kept getting fed through our CDs, our thumb drives, our cassette tapes. And that's how we keep going. That's how we are like we are, is because nowadays we don't have we have training, but it's all virtual. Most of it's virtual training. But back in the day, it was all we had to actually go to these events, physically go to these events. And this year, the seminar, I'm excited, is in North Carolina. Now, we heard, I think, in Bible study this morning, that North Carolina cannot hold as many people as Dallas. So they suggested that as soon as registration opens up, you register, because it will sell out, because their convention center is not as big as Dallas. And so we have to, if we're going to go, then, and I'm just saying, I'm flying out of Bakersfield and I'm tracking the tickets. I'm not being a Debbie Downer, but right now the tickets are $600 to fly round trip. So I will keep an eye out on them, and I will get them as soon as I can, because I am going. And I would love to be able to extend my trip coming back so I could go to Elevation Church on that last day. So I don't know how that'll work out. I have to look at the schedule and see all the things, but that would be awesome to be able to go to church there. But I don't know if that'll work out this time. So anyway, so that's a little bit about Seminar and Ann Newbury. Just a couple things before we get started, before I share my screen. Did you all fill out your creating your 2025, your creating 2025 sheet? We have a sheet creating, it's Kristen Sharp's 2025. Just gives you some things to think about. Like, what would you like to be your biggest triumph? What advice would you like to give yourself in 2025? What's a major change you're willing to make to improve your financial results in 2025? Just some things. If you don't have it, I can get it to you. I can text it to you and you can print it up and do that. Another quick thing is, you know how I'm always beat my best. I always beat my best. That's my goal, beat my best. And so I actually just the other day pulled up my receipts from January, because you know what? January and December are not even the same. I'm just saying. You got December where you sell $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, and then there's January. And you don't do as many faces, you don't do the gifts that you do in December. So my January last year, I sold $22.91, and with the discounts, I don't know what discounts I gave last year, but with the discounts, I gave some. I ended up net total was $17.04 for the month. And I always like to beat my best. So I try to figure out a way, and this is just an idea. You know, a lot of people give gift cards in December to their customers so they'll order in January to get them to order something. And so what I did this year, and I've emailed it out and I automatically give it to somebody if by chance they don't know. I'm giving the birthdays 20% off for birthdays or whatever's greatest, $10 off their order. So if they only order a mascara, they get $10 off. So you always upsell them. You could say, well, you're getting $10 off. Is there anything else you need? I did that today and ended up selling $60 and she got it for 50. So, because she was going to get one thing for 20 and I was going to give her $10 off. But you know what? It was her birthday month. So she actually got $12 off the $60. She got the whole skincare set. Well, almost. The Mary Kay skincare line. She's a senior. She's old. She's older than me, but she's used to the botanicals. So anyway, so this year, so far this year, we're not done with January. I actually have sold 2671 and my net total is 22. So I beat my best from last year. And I looked to see how I did it. First of all, my classes. The class that I did was 289. And my facials are 454 this year compared to last year at 181. And then of course the reorders are about the same. So far, we're not done with January. But it's just if you track what you're doing and track number growth, so track yourself. I don't care if it's in a notebook or if it's on your weekly accomplishment sheet. You can always go back and look and see what you did for the month. Weekly accomplishment sheet is easy for you to keep track of for the end of the year, to print out one sheet for the end of the year. That's what weekly accomplishment sheet does. And when you order 700 this month, you get this cute little garden set. Mine came today. So I just thought that was cute. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. It's too cute to get dirty. So, and I work in the garden, but that is really, really cute. And one more thing, I'm going to get started. Football pool. So Georgia, my girlfriend Georgia says, why don't you just backtrack to the 1st of January and just put everybody's name on your scoreboard? And so that's what triggered me to check to see how much I sold last year compared to this year. And if I put all the names and all the sales on here, I'd have almost 2 sheets filled up. And I'm going like, no, it starts on the 15th. Anybody from the 15th on gets on my sheet, which I usually fill up at least 1 sheet, sometimes 1.5, sometimes 2 sheets. These sheets for these football pools are, this is how I've been doing it for years. It's $1,000. You sell $1,000. And how they get their name on here is they order $10 and their name goes in a square. Well, this year I actually put, I don't know if you can see it, I put numbers in each squares because I looked at my daughter-in-law's for my granddaughter for her for her volleyball. She had numbers in there. So sometimes it's hard because they don't know what all these numbers are and I don't have teams yet. So you have to say, okay, I want 4 and whatever. Okay. But in this case, I just put numbers in there so they could pick their numbers that they want. Much easier. And it's 100 numbers. Each square is $10. And then if they, like today, $50, but take away the tax, she only got four numbers because it was 40 something. I round down to the nearest 10. I don't round up to the nearest 10. I round down because of the tax. Got added on to make it $51. So it was 40 something, like 46. But each one of these are $1,000. Now, I don't know about you, but I've been doing this one sheet. It's not fancy. It's not pink. It's not blingy. It's simple. And how it works, if you're not familiar, was say the first quarter, the score was 3 to 10. AFC had 3 and NFC had 10. So, or AFC had 3 and NFC had 10. So you would go over to the 3 and to the 0. You would go, I'm backwards here. You would go 3 and then 0 because they had 10, and you take the second number. They had 3, so you would go 3 and 0. And or if it was 11 to 3, you'd go 3 to 1, and that would be the winner for the first quarter. Now, my quarters are $25 worth of retail product the first quarter, 50 the second, halftime, 25 the third, and 50 the fourth. So it's $150 worth of retail, $75 your cost. But you actually sold $1,000. So you're still making $425 off of this after you order the products. And you're just getting people on board with ordering enough to get a square or 2 or 3 or 5. So if you want more, if you want this, Karen, just let me know and I'll send it. I created it. Yeah, I'll send it to you. I created a PDF to send to Georgia because she wants to use it. But it's really simple. You can put the numbers in yourself going across, number them up to 100. And then just start. Everybody who orders $10 or more gets a square. It's an incentive. And you know what? They like it. We don't know who the teams are yet, but it doesn't matter. Just say, hey, you want to enter my Super Bowl? We had one director that actually says, oh yeah, I have them pay $30 for a square. She goes, that makes the sheet $3,000. She didn't say anything about $30 worth of product. She pays out, 25, she's paying out $25 a quarter. And I'm going like, are you doing cash? Because that's kind of illegal. I don't know. It was a Mary Kay director. I'm going like, I didn't question. I got mine. I've been using mine for years and it works. And I email it out to my customers and I'll text it out to them saying, hey, you want to get the football pool? And I just explain it. For every $10 you purchase, you get a square. You can pick your squares. And I update and send out the updated, and I post it in my VIP groups, the updated sheet so they can see what numbers are left. When they can see it, then they want to do it. Just saying. But yeah, I'll share it. It's pretty simple. Not fancy, but it works. Okay, let's get on with the training here. I want to show you the notes. I'm going to show you the notes. Okay, in the packet, I'm not sure if you guys, I know that my unit got the packet, but here is week 2, and it's Boss Babe's Trailblazer for this week, and it would be Ann Newbury, and I'll share this with you. I thought I shared this with you, Karen, but not sure. You take notes on her story, and you can do it afterwards. You can do it on a sheet of paper. The second question is, why did she want to blaze a new trail? What was her inspiration? And the third question is, what changed in her business because she blazed a new trail? Now, I know her story, so I already know. How does her story inspire you? And what was your biggest takeaway? What are some of the some key things you want to remember about her story and tips? And then it has a questionnaire. So let's go ahead and I'll go ahead and click over to the YouTube so we can watch it. And then you'll see. I don't know if you know Ann Newbury. Do you know Ann Newbury, Karen? You do? Okay. Let me click sound so you guys can get the sound. I got that down pat now. It's not a very long video, but she's very powerful.
Morning or good afternoon, whatever time it is where you are. My name is Ann Newbury, and I'm Elite National Sales Director Emeritus. And I live in the Dallas, Texas area now, after having lived in several parts of this country heretofore. When I was a brand new beauty consultant, I was excited about the possibilities, although the only person I ever met was my recruiter, who was also a sales director, between holiday visits. So she and I only met for one lunch, but all of her enthusiasm sold me on giving this a try. And thanks to a little loan from my dad to get my inventory and my showcase, I was able to pioneer the area of Richmond, Virginia, which is where we lived, and I was recruited in the Dallas area. But the most exciting thing about my commencement was that I said, I'm representing the newest and hottest thing in Dallas, Texas, in the area of skincare and makeup artistry, blah, 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 whatever it was I said then, I don't know, so many years ago. And but the key was people were curious. I had a good range of friends, so my beginning was pretty successful for about 3 months. And then my husband decided we were going to move all the way from Richmond to Boston, Massachusetts. And I had probably turned over 3 orders of inventory. It would have been very small by your terms, but it was a lot for me at that time. And I was the only one in the city. I was the only one in the city. And I was able to recruit one of my best customers to take over the business when we moved because of my husband's job. That's usually how things worked back then. So I moved to Boston, didn't know anybody. I was expecting my 3rd child, actually. And so I was going to have 3 children under the age of 6 or 7, something like that. I lost track along the way. But I met one of my neighbors in the street walking the babies one day, and after we had moved in, a lot of snow, a lot of cold weather. And she was welcoming me to the neighborhood, and she said, do you work? Do you have a job? And I said, oh, no, I don't work. And then I had to kind of jerk myself, and I said, well, actually, I represent this small cosmetics company out of Dallas, Texas. I'm sure you've never heard of it. Nobody else has. But it's called Mary Kay Cosmetics, and what I'm trained to do is to offer you a complimentary facial. You get to try everything all at one time in the privacy of your home or mine. So if you all would like to pop over for coffee tomorrow, I'd love to have you, and you can see what it's all about. There's no obligation. And that's the way my consultantship took root in Boston. And after, I don't know, I guess it was the better part of a year that I was doing it on and off. I'd meet people, I'd say, this is what I do. People were nice enough to say, sure, I'd love to see it. And in most cases, they bought. I mean, the product sold itself. There's no 2 ways about it. All I had to do was get it on their face. I truly believed in that much. So when my director called me long distance one day and encouraged me to think about the role of directorship, which I had no idea what it was. I had no idea what it entailed. I had never been to a company meeting. I didn't know anyone but her. And I kind of thought it was like a board of directors. I thought I was going to sit on some group of people and tell them what I thought every month. But that wasn't the case. And once she explained to me what the job was, and then I began to notice her paychecks in the magazine, the company newsletter. It was not colorful like it is now. It was very simple. But she was making a lot of money, and certainly for a woman. And my little family, even though we lived in a more prosperous city, the cost of living there was just as high as the potential income. So we were back where we started from. We had no money at the end of the month, no money at the end of the month. And I was going to have to make the difference. That's where you have to examine yourself as a consultant. How far, it's not a matter of how far do you intend to take this. It's a matter of what your present needs are, and are they going to grow into bigger needs later, depending upon your family lifestyle and your obligations. I had obligations. So I was willing to listen to her presentation of being a director. I didn't know how to recruit anybody. I talked my best friend into taking over the customers in Richmond. That was easy. But I didn't know how to recruit anyone, and I didn't want to overpromise or underdeliver. Again, I'd never met anyone in the company except my recruiter or seen anything. There was no videos. We had none of that. And so she just made a decision to fly up and help me. And that decision on her part would set the tone for the rest of my life. Honestly, it did. She insisted on coming quickly while we were having a hot, the live wire about it before I got cold feet. And she stayed in my home for 2 or 3 days, and anybody that I could get to come over and meet my lovely house guest and also hear about the company that I was representing, people came. I think I had 12 that were supposed to come, and actually 6 showed up. Well, the miracle was 24 hours later, 5 ladies out of those 6 had decided overnight to become consultants, and they wanted to see Carolyn one more day because she was going to do a training the next day. So her, again, once again, her influence, she charming, lovely, beautiful, intelligent, certainly professional, it made a big difference. It did. And I wanted to be that kind of a difference going forward for whoever I had the chance to recruit. So I listened, I paid attention, I learned. She went back. I had my 3rd child born a week later. I was back on the road interviewing all the other people that I could even think of. And more than that, I had the confidence to sell the big picture, not the big picture, but there's the picture of how much money you could make by the hour, what a difference you could make with your family's finances and future. I learned. I listened and I learned. And I would encourage you to do the same thing. And then be willing to tell the story. Tell the Mary Kay Cosmetics story to each and every person who's willing to sit there and have a cup of coffee and ask questions maybe, or be interested. You won't win them all. I never did. Nobody can. It's not for everybody. But until you tell the story, along with your story, what motivated you to come into it, now you have living proof that you're making money. And if you're not, that'll be my next piece of advice to you. Be willing to hold a class every day. They all won't hold, so you don't have to worry about how to fill the time, but you need to be much more booked. I know that when I had good weeks, the bank account just showed right there, and it was like success breeds success. So multiply your actions and your intentions and follow through on all that. Otherwise, you tend to get a little, not lazy, but sluggish, and you lose confidence, and before you know it, you're losing a little belief. So the rest of it is history. But within 3 months of that visit of hers, and the 5 people she helped me recruit, I had gone on to get the rest of my team that was required to go all the way to Dallas and be a director in qualification and spend a whole week. I had a whole week of being trained by people from the office, the local sales directors in Dallas, and of course the lady herself. That's when I met Mary Kay herself, and she spent a whole entire day teaching us, most of all, how to lead our lives and be organized and be efficient and be personable and be truthful and be honest and follow through on each and everything you promise. If a customer is expecting a delivery at 10 o'clock, do not be there at 10:15. She may have already had to run to the doctor. Just learn to treat people the way you would want to be treated in all situations. So I was on my way. I never looked back. That was January of 1971. I never looked back. I went on to become a director that spring, finished my not by landslides. I had the minimum number of team members, and the production with a few dollars over, I guess, but we were trailblazing, and we were alone. So I was having to act as the director to them as well as be the pioneer to finish the team. And then I had a wonderful 5 years. The next 5 years were just magical. We recruited, we team built. Mary Kay had taught me that my most important job would be to give my job away. So it's like, okay, I became a director, but it wasn't going to be about me anymore. It was going to be about you and you and you and anybody who thought they might want to be a director as well. And so, I'm so sorry. I would hold recruiting coffees in their homes. I would do exactly for them, what Carolyn had done for me without having to get on a plane and do it. So we built beyond Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, Vermont, Connecticut. Anywhere I had a team member that had grown in the business and wanted to grow, I would and had a recruiting coffee. Sometimes we got all of them, sometimes we got one, sometimes we got none. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. It was the activity and the action and the belief that what we were doing was right that made it all so much fun and so worthwhile. And then after I was a director for 5 years, I had qualified to be a national sales director, having gone from pretty much nothing all the way to national, and having a wonderful team of 30 sales directors in my area that was going to launch what was going to become not only a record-breaking, but a historic area for the northeastern part. and then the rest of the Mary Kay world. Right after I became a national, the company started talking about opening Canada. And I thought, oh, wouldn't that be exciting? And it was just not that bad of a drive for me from Boston to Canada. And we had a couple of leads. A couple of my girls had contacts or extended family up there. And I mean, we were in the car before the first meeting could have taken place. Mary Kay was going to be a guest at an open house in Montreal. We were there the day before, prospecting just to come meet this lady and have a facial with us right here in the hotel. I mean, we just moved like the speed of light. If we believed it, we did it. And if someone followed us like a Pied Piper, we were thrilled. Well, that whole thing of Canada taught me about getting out of my town, out of my state, now out of my country, and bringing the opportunity to a country where women were underpaid. They were worse than America. And wasn't that exciting to give them something they could look forward to? I'm going to tell you, I wound up developing 8, are you ready? 8 national sales directors all across Canada from one coast to the other. And those 8 went on to develop another 6 or 7. I've lost track. All I know is the Pilgrim family, as we are known to be, we are the Pink Pilgrims of New England. It's a historic group. It was a revolution, and we took our story and went as far as the world would take us. It was 11 years later, after I worked in Canada, I went up there every 6 weeks at least, for the rest of my Mary Kay career until we opened Mexico 11 years later, and I felt the draw. I had holidayed down there. I loved the Mexican people, and I knew that they would just be thrilled with this. So I was on a plane as soon as the first opening guest event was announced, and Mary Kay was backstage. She looked at me and said, "What are you doing here? You're supposed to be taking care of Canada." I said, "Oh, they're well in place. We're doing great up there. Now I'm going to do Mexico." And she just blinked her eyes. And I went on to have the very first national sales director in the country of Mexico, and many more beyond her. She was an elite executive at the point of her retirement and passing on. And anyway, I could go on and on about this. Sometimes it gets almost unbelievable. But the point is, if you take a deep breath, make up your mind you want to be a star, a Mary Kay star, promise your family that you'll do everything that you possibly can to make this work for them and your husband, you're going to enjoy the journey. That's, I promise you. Please take a deep breath. Believe that you can do anything in the world that your mind and heart will let you do. Tell your husband, I'm out the door, but don't worry, I'll come back, and I'm going to have money when I come. And then just enjoy it. Enjoy the journey. I bless you all. Congratulations. You'll be great. And take a big bite and go on and work your way all the way to the top. You can do it. Love you.
Well, okay, so what'd you like best? Anybody? Nobody's going to say anything?
She seemed
Okay.
nice. She seemed down to earth, so it makes it kind of like, wow, if she's like that, she can get far as long as you book things and you just keep trying.
And that's it. That's the whole point. I mean, I'll just tell you, when she says that she built in Canada, and I cannot be a national, but my goal was to build in other countries, and I still can build in other countries. You have to be a director. You have to have certain stat. I mean, I qualified to build in other countries, and it's only good to go over there and start building for a year. You have to prove yourself. But now she's retired. Now, I just want you to get this. When they retire at 65, for 15 years, they get the best, they get 60%. They take the last 5 years and they give them best 3 out of the last 5 years. They get 60% of that for 15 years. And then it stops. However, when you build in another country, that never stops. So like she's built in Mexico, she's built in Canada, that income keeps rolling on in all the way. And when she builds nationals, she's getting a big chunk of money. I remember, I think it was Ann Newbury or Barbara Sundin. I think it was Barbara Sundin. She said one time she had a white box by her desk. That's where she would get the checks that came in and she would just stash them there. And so one day she said, I actually opened the box to look at all the money she had in there. It was checks that were not cashed or deposited because it was all from her international building. It was all from international. So just FYI, all you youngsters that can build to be a director, build to be a red jacket, and then move up to be a director. You can move up to be a national with the family security program. And if you go international, now I don't know about you, but I love to travel. I love to travel. And I wanted to build in Germany and Brazil and Switzerland. Those are the places I wanted to build. That's where I qualified to go. And but you have to have a connection there, and you have to start building, and you have to build. You have to have a director within the first year that you're there. You have to go in there, and you have to actually commit to traveling to there to actually build and help build. But it's just exciting. Like she said, she went to Mexico, and Mary Kay said, "What are you doing down here? You're supposed to be in Canada." I go, "Oh, it's taken care of." You know what? There's stories, and if I find my flash drive, maybe I'll play Ann Newberry's story from there. It's not, I don't think it's a video. I think it's just voice, but I've heard so many of her stories to where she was traveling and she's going like, Canada, why do you, yeah, she didn't want to cross a bridge, much less go to another town to build her business. I remember the stories. I remember the stories. But yes, she is. So well, let me see. It says list the communities that are within the travel radius that you're willing to travel. How far? They always told us, Linda Tupin told us to go within 2 hours from where we're at. 2 hours, travel and build in 2 hours. For the simple fact is, if something happens into your town where you're at, if you're just building people, customers, and team members in your city, what if something happens, like the fire or a flood or an earthquake, and your whole city gets taken down? If you build outside of your area, your business still will go on without you being, without everything shutting down. You may be shut down, but you still have customers and team members and stuff outside of your little area. So when she says, she went to Canada and Mexico, I'm just going like, yes, I'd love to travel. I'd like to go build. I remember when they were building in the Philippines and they started there. It's just like I wanted to go, but I just couldn't go at that time. So anyway, anybody got any questions on that? Any input on that? Ideas?
Not questions, but I liked where she said that she just barely qualified, but like she didn't qualify, like she didn't, oh gosh, my brain just farted. Like she didn't have a lot over qualification to be able to qualify as a director, but she like barely skimmed by,
Right.
and she still qualified. And
Right.
to become a director, and she still made it possible even though she didn't have like a whole lot over for qualification.
Right.
And I can see that happening with me, being that if I go there, it's going to take a lot for me to go to get there, but I can see it being just barely making it by the skin of my teeth, kind of.
Yeah. Well, when I went into DIQ, I actually went into DIQ we were allowed to go 4 times. I think it was 4 times. And I had tried 3 times and it didn't work. And so I would have had to sit out a year before I tried again. if I would have not made the fourth time. And I prayed about it and told God that if he wants me into DIQ, we're going to have to do car qualifications for 1 month first. Well, that happened. And I'm going like, okay, now I really have to work, because I was working night shift, you know, 30 at night till 11:30 in the morning, 6 days a week. And so it's like, okay, how's this going to happen? But you know, it doesn't matter if you barely skim by, you still can't. I think our problem is, I don't know about you, but I compare myself to what all these other people are doing and how it looks easy, but you know what? They have issues too. They're just not showing you all the things they're going through to get where they're at. And rather you just barely make it over. It would not hurt my feelings if I got on the trip and we barely made it by 650,050 cents. I would not, it wouldn't hurt my feelings if we did that. You know, I'd still go on the trip. You know what I mean? So barely getting by, you know, it's like, what if you work as hard as you can work to do the work, God's going to bless your efforts. But even if you, like, say I was going for the trip, the prestige trip, and we only made 649,000 out of 650 to make the trip, but we gave it all we got. You know what I mean? It's like Pam Shaw was talking in January Jumpstart, and she said that she was trying to make 400,000 and she made 300 and I don't know what it was, 75,000 or 385,000. And she asked corporate, "You're going to round up, right? We're going to do 400,000." He goes, "Oh no, babe, sorry. We round down to 350,000. That's the bar pin you're going to get." And so, you know what it is? She goes, I'll never ask for an exception ever again. And so it's just, you can't beat yourself up. You're barely going to make it. As long as you do the work, you're going to get it done. Whether it's just barely doing it or by abundance and well beyond and all that. You just can't compare yourself to everybody else who's going to have a DIQ that probably looks flawless and everybody's going to flock to them and it's not going to be hard work for them. You know what? Or you're going to have to do some work, and God's going to stretch you, and God's going to be there to help you grow through it and get through it. So I hope that's encouraging, because it's hard sometimes. Even as a director, it's hard to do things, you know, and without comparing ourselves. We compare. Karen, do you compare yourself?
Yes, I do. Very much.
And you got to not compare yourself.
Exactly.
We all run our own race.
Exactly.
Yep. And it's hard. It's a hard thing to do in life. It's not just in Mary Kay, but just in life, you know, looking at your neighbors, what do they have? And, you know, what you don't have. And you got to be content with what you have. God's got you in this place for a reason to do. He's got the people lined up for you. The new customers, the new team members, they're all lined up for you. It's your job just to open your mouth and give them your card. That's all you have to do. Open your mouth and give them your card. They're going to either take it or not. But if God wants them on your team, if he wants them as your customer, they will come forth, and they will. But you know what? Something on Bible study this morning, one of our people, Linda was talking, and she said that there was something she was watching, said that it used to take 7 times to follow up with somebody to get them to book. It used to take 7 times in order to get some feedback from them, to connect with them and whatever. She says there's a study out now to where it takes 36 times to be able to book somebody. 36 attempts for one person. I'm going like, holy cow, I'm giving up too fast. I call my leads 3 or 4 times and then I'm going like, okay, I'm done. I'm not giving them enough time. But then I have the backup. I have the text messages. When my texting is working, they get texted out for 7 weeks or whatever. So yeah, and emails, if I have their emails, they get emails out too. So but yeah, I just thought that was kind of funny, You know, I never heard that. She watched something and that's what they said. 36 times to connect with somebody. So don't get frustrated, you know. Um, okay, so what changed in her business because she blazed a new trail? What changed in her business?
She started to earn the income that she definitely filled the gap. She made the income.
Right. Yep. How did her story inspire you?
It inspired me by the simple fact that no technology was around to do the things that we can do today. So that inspires me to have the ability, just the genuine relationship with whomever I'm speaking with and make that connection, because that's the only way that they did it then. And it just isn't, just it's very important. And that's what inspired me. Just they did it the old fashioned way.
She did it all by word of mouth.
Yeah, word of mouth.
Yep. And that's how we did it forever until, you know, till we got cell phones and until we got internet, and but that's how we did it. And when she was talking about her director, while they were still chatting about her being a director, her director flew in to do the career chats. That's what we used to do. That's what we did. We did that. I did that. I drove up to Reno all the time and just to do career chats and to do parties for
I
consultants.
remember when we used to go up to the pizza parlor and
Yep.
in
Reno,
yeah, I think
Sparks.
so.
Sparks.
Nevada, yeah.
Yep.
And we met with, I think, Barbara and someone else.
Yeah.
And some girls and stuff.
Yep. We did. We used to drive up there and I would drive to Las Vegas and I would drive anywhere to do a party. So LA didn't matter. The coast, I still go to the coast. So haven't been over to Nevada, but once the snow.
Maricopa.
Yeah, did Maricopa too.
We've done
Cuyama.
events in New Cuyama. Yeah.
Oh Lord, I've been all over. I do stuff all over. And you know, it's good to build in other areas. So you guys, the whole point is she went to Canada. However, we can build around here. So don't be limited to your neighborhood. Step out past your neighborhood because there's people out there and they know people. We have virtual now. And so they know people that aren't living in the city that you could actually do a virtual with and send out a pampering pack. So it's So what was the biggest takeaway from her story?
She made it. She made it to be a national and she was able to build in other countries.
Yeah, she did it in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
And so back then it only took 30 directors to become a national. How many does it take now?
20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And we had to have 30 unit members on our team, personal unit members, to become a director. When I became a director, we had to have 30 personal. Now they made it to where, like, if I was in DIQ and you and Marina added people to your team, that would count towards my DIQ. Yeah. And
How many personal do you have to have now?
I don't know. I don't think there's that many personals that you have to have now. So you could literally have 5 people on your team and each of those 5 could have 5 and you'd be a director. If you did the production.
24 total to become a director, and then all the incentives. When you have 30, you get your pink jacket, your director jacket paid for, and then you have a certain amount, oh, I forget the amount over it, and then they pay for your registration. So that's what the incentive is, to have 30 on your 30 or more
On
as
your team.
and to make, once you become a director, to get through DIQ, then to become a director.
But it's not 30 personals, it's just 30 in your unit.
Exactly.
Huh.
Yeah. So she's only been a director a couple of years, year and a half. So she probably knows the qualifications a little better. So Karen, tell us when they add 5 people on their team. And so each of those 5 people, say, added 5 each, no, 3 each. Whatever it equals 20, whatever equals 24. Those people that they added on their team can count. They could, I mean, personal wise, she only needs 5, 3.
Technically, if she wants to go, you can do it that way. You bring in somebody on your personal team, and that person has 3 or 4 people on their team. They become a red jacket. So that's the whole goal, is to have
Reds.
teams of teams.
Uh-huh.
And that's how you can build your unit. And of course, having your own personals is always what we're working towards, but you can become a director with 5 personals of your own, as long as those 5 personals are bringing in new people to support the production of becoming, a director, because there's some, criteria for that as well.
Yeah. I know out of our 51 people, I'll look, but I think probably close to 40 are my personals. So they always want you to have a unit within a unit, which is 30 personals within, no matter if your unit's 100, 200, you should have at least 30 personals yourself. And it's funny, because I was listening to one of the trainings today, and she said the T status don't count for your unit. So look at your unit, subtract the T's, and that's your unit. T status people don't count. Company doesn't count the T's. So like right now we have 33 that are non-T out of 51. And so she said, Pam Shaw, build to 100. Non-T, built to 100, non-terminated. And for the consultants that know what T is, T means that you haven't ordered in 6 months or more. And when you get T1, T2, up to T6 and T7, after that month, if you don't order, you're kicked out. I mean, you're terminated, not kicked out. You're terminated because you haven't done anything. You haven't ordered personally. And I don't know why somebody wouldn't order their personal products. I'm not sure. I love my products. I love me some Mary Kay products.
So our team, Rise and Resilience, we're at 60, like 61, and every one of them are my personals.
That's good. So they can start team building.
That's the goal.
Yeah, start team building. We need reds, a sea of reds. I know I've been up over 100 before. No, I wasn't in a Cadillac because we had too many T's, but yeah, people, consultants, life happens and some stay in, some don't. I've just learned to keep going no matter what. You can always put it on the back burner for a minute. I did when I moved to Reno, put it on the back burner for 6 months, didn't do anything, and then picked it back up, started going to training for the, second time, because I went through some issues and got shifted over to Nevada. And so I was dealing with some stuff, and all of a sudden I decided to go to an event. He's got a sense of humor. I went to an event, connected with the director, and then I started getting tied back in and learning and stuff. So it was good. It's a good thing. But when I moved back to Bakersfield, I was a red jacket. I became a director here. Okay, so what are some of the things that you want to remember about her story or her tips? Anything stick out?
To me, she just opened her mouth. She just opened her mouth. She talked to people because it was her passion to make her life better.
Yeah, it was. It was. So do you have the whole workbook for the Boss Babes?
Yes, I do. I was when they were. Yes, I have it.
Okay.
I have
Just
the
want to make
links.
sure you have it for your girls to have it. So you can
It's
share it
this.
and they could, when they get on, they could, I don't know if you share it. Do you share it in your trainings? No.
I haven't shared it, but it's definitely by sitting here listening to this, it's inspiring me to do a lot more than I have done. So thank you.
But you're not used to virtual so much, right? You don't do a lot of,
No, not so much.
okay.
So
So
I would,
this is overall our thing that we did yesterday, the pop-ups. Now it's been probably close to a year since I was doing pop-ups and nobody was getting on, and I was doing pop-ups after pop-ups. Every Monday I would do a pop-up, and then I started doing Hydra sessions on Thursday nights at 7. And they don't have to have a pampering pack, but if they wanted to have a pampering cut, because we walk through the pampering pack and they could actually do it to their face while we're talking, we could start doing that again. We called it Hydra sessions, but I think that Megan Chapman changed the name to glass skin facials. Glass skin, because your skin is going to be like glass. There's a difference between a Hydra session and a glass skin. Glass skin, you use the time-wise repair, charcoal mask, facial peel. Hydra session, you use foaming cleanser, which is still time-wise repair, and unless they're oily, they need the combination of oily moisturizer at the end. But you use that, you use microdermabrasion, you use charcoal mask, you use facial peel, you use renewing gel mask, you use, you know what I'm saying? All the other things that you use on a Hydra facial, it's more intense. And we've done it, Melissa was there, we did it on our faces at a meeting when we were meeting in person. And it was amazing. But I taught them how to do a hydrofacial, like hands-on. We were sitting here at the table and we were all doing it at the same time. So they could see what it was like to do a hydrofacial. But the glass skin facials are, I don't do it on camera when they do it. But I can mail out pampering packs. You can mail out pampering packs for the guests if we can start getting guests on, or consultants that want to see what the glass skin facial. I can teach you and your consultants all kinds of stuff that you probably don't even know. Only because I do a lot. The glass face with the makeup. Well, I showed you, and the $10,000 facelift. I do it every day. Just doing those two things, it changed my whole makeup routine, which for the better. And it's simple little tricks that if your consultants learn, like my consultants, I got that video, YouTube video. I mean, they're more than welcome to go watch the YouTube video. But if they learn that things, then they can teach those things. Like if my consultants, I know she's a makeup diva. She likes her makeup and she's good at it. She's good at trying different things. She's good at the technology, the techie stuff, doing Instagram videos and reels and posts. And she actually hey, Marina, can you talk?
Oh, sure.
Okay, your gal last night. So what did she say?
Oh, would she like the stuff? I mean, she hasn't ordered yet, but I gave her a coupon as a gift. So
Okay.
I'm thinking she's thinking about it.
Okay. But did she like what she heard?
Oh yeah, she's really happy about it.
Okay, good.
And then I have another person. She couldn't make it to the last night, but she's very interested because I told her because she was curious what we learned about all that in the 20 minutes, and it was really good.
So
'Cause
yeah,
stress.
and it was quick, 20 minutes, and it's fast.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's great because it's informative and helpful, and she should have came. The one lady, but Casey who went last night, she really enjoyed it.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you guys all because I know you were on it and Karen was on. But let me just tell you some of the information I got, because Katrina does the boards and she has social media posting. Some of those posts that I was pulling from tell about self-care and all that. I pulled off of, and you can go back and look in our Facebook party group. I posted those last week. I posted that information last week. So you can go back and check it out so you can see what I was talking about. I mean, it's all there. I posted in my VIPs and I posted in our party group. And Karen, if you're not in the party group, then yeah, I need to get you in there. Oh, your internet's unstable. But I can get you in there where you can see the posts because Katrina has a boards for us that she's got all the posts lined out that we can post for product posts and just engagement posts and all that stuff. So a lot of the stuff that I talked about last night is in our party group on Facebook. I posted it last week and I pulled it up because I know when I was scheduling the posts, I saw it. It was on self-care, what causes stress on your skin and all that stuff. It was I read it all. And then I pulled out the ones I wanted to use and the information I wanted to use. And I did it last night about self-care, about the skin. That's how I had it. I didn't have to research that part in the products. I already know because I do the products all the time because I was doing Thursday nights. I was doing Monday pop-ups, Thursday night facials, virtual. So I know all about the skincare part of it. But on Thursday nights, it takes about 45. I've done it. I've done a hydrofacial in a half hour, but it takes, I want to say about 45 minutes if somebody's doing it on their face. I actually walked somebody through it and we did it in a half hour. But that's just one person. So if they have any questions, then it takes a little longer. But we could start doing that again, start getting virtuals on. And they can get a pampering pack if they want, or not. Just get on and learn about the products. And we can start doing pop-ups again on Mondays. So, and talk about different products. When the new products come out, I like to do a pop-up and talk about the new products. It's a 20-minute little thing about the new products and all about them. So it's kind of cool. So
Get excited for the new stuff that's coming out. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
oh, I've been using some of it. Not all of it, but I've been using some of it, a little bit. So yeah, we'll see. It's always so. Okay, you guys. So do you have any questions? So did you like the week number 2 with Ann Newbury? Yeah. Okay, so next week it is, let me see if I can see who it is. Oh, I can't see who it is. Hold on. No, I can't see who it is. I'll have to surprise you. I think it's somebody I haven't heard a whole lot about, but let me see. Who is it next week?
See if I can find
look.
it.
It is Cindy Grass. Yeah, Cindy Grass is next week. And then we'll have Janice Trude, Dawn Otten Sweeney, Bridget Shaw, Jamie Taylor. We got different ones. We did this last year too. It was good. So check your homework assignments, you guys. Go over your papers, get your creative, get your goals down. Creating your 2025. And let's get rolling for 2025. Let me stop the recording. I'm gonna